Hi, I'm Tracy Simica, and I am talking about my visit to a church. When I was given the challenge to visit an event from a different culture, I wanted to choose something that was out of my comfort zone. As a white middle-class woman, I decided to visit a church that was primarily black people in a low-income neighborhood in Fort Myers. I felt that they would be different from my lifestyle, but that a house of worship accepts all walks of life. I did not consider myself better than them based on my skin color or financial situation, but I was curious if some of the media had given me the wrong impression of a congregation of black people. I did not have specific preconceived ideas, simply that it would provide me with an opportunity to experience how other people different from myself worship God. I envisioned a memory from the movie Sister Act, where all of the children were in long robes and had dancing and singing and enthusiasm. I thought that the preaching would be similar to the many movies that show black people going to church. I believed that it would be very animated and exaggerated. I thought it would be very similar to those television examples. My assumptions were wrong, and after much thought, I realized that they came from my ignorance. The people in the church were primarily black, but it was mostly more diverse than I had expected. There were more women than men, but only by a little bit. Most everyone was dressed really nice in their Sunday best, I assume. I was greeted with friendly responses. The usher that helped me find my seat was a white man. The worship leader at the keyboard was Hispanic, I believe. He had a team on the stage with him, and they were dressed in their normal clothes, no special robes. The worship team was a diverse group with white, black, and Latino and Hispanic cultures represented. I was familiar with some of the songs that they sang, and there were some new ones. They were not old hymns, but current worship songs that churches are using in modern Christian churches. The people in the congregation were friendly and kind. During their church service, most of the practices were what I had experienced in my own church. There were some fun additions, though. This church had a dance team that prepared a prearranged dance to a well-known Christian song. They wore long, white, flowing dresses and long-sleeve shirts with white ballet shoes. They seemed to be doing some moves that were sign language. It was a beautiful dance and did resemble some of the musical numbers that take place on movies and television shows. It was not exaggerated, though. It was really heartfelt. The pastor, a white woman, greeted the congregation and acknowledged new visitors. She preached a subject matter that was Bible-based, and I could have easily heard that sermon in my own church. When the sermon was finished, she shared an opportunity to donate at the end of the service. The deacons and elders invited the congregation to pray at the altar. They were willing to pray with anyone that came up with a need. The church was well maintained and the service was planned out. They must follow that format often. Some of my primary assumptions were changed. One assumption was that the people in the church were going to be loud and follow what I had seen in the movies. This was an unfair thought, as if they would almost have an insincere interaction with their God, or an animation that was for show. Who was I to assume these people were not just overjoyed with love and appreciation? I realized that some of their practices were affirmed, but I learned that I was wrong to assume that they would be just acting. These people were able to be free of stereotypes in their place of worship, and I learned that I admired them. I also learned that their beliefs were very similar to mine, and many things they said and did were very much the same. This assignment was enlightening to me. I realized that it was my responsibility to not assume things about other cultures. As educators, we need to realize that our students come from a diverse background, and we have to actively embrace them all equally. I have never been a prejudiced person, but I will admit to being ignorant to other ways of life. The recent class video that called us to not accept one story still resonates with me. I will make a concerted effort to not accept one story about any culture as the only story. Through this experience, I have learned that ignorance to other cultures can lead us down a road that I have always considered myself a person who's open-minded and accepting of other cultures. Assumptions based on the little thing that we have heard from the media, news, or other people's experiences. I need to make it a priority to actively choose to learn about other cultures so I can be a better educator to all. Allowing students the freedom to share their lives will teach other students and me. As educators, we need to first love learning ourselves, and it's acceptable to not know what every culture's specific practices are, but it's not all right to not try to learn what we can about how our students live. I plan on exerting my influence on my students by being proactive about other cultures with them. We can easily integrate cultural experiences in many ways if we choose to make it a priority. I feel that it is important, and I will dedicate a portion of my time with my students to find ways to expose them to the diversity around them. Thank you.